Right, I once had a dream that I was put to work in a factory with no choice, and in the factory it was testing frogs to see how high they could bounce, and they were all coming along the conveyor belt, and if they couldn't jump high enough, which was a certain rule scale, then I had to throw them into the waste bin, which was killing me to do so. That was my guilt dream.
Is there any particular dreams you remember from like in your childhood or any time back in the past?
Yeah, I had a recurring dream when I was a kid that was set in winter, and a lion came to the house and shot my entire family.
Blimey.
Yeah.
It was dramatic.
It was very dramatic.
Wow.
I've got a recurring dream. Is, for example, I'm looking for a toilet. Anywhere really, and the toilet has no doors, or the toilet can't be closed, or that there are people looking while I need to piss, and I can't find a place to piss. Yeah. So this is a very recurring dream. It's a bit annoying, really. But yeah, it's that's my dream. That's my main dream.
I don't remember any dreams at the moment. I do dream though, but I can't remember. None are coming to mind. I daydream a lot, so I know that's included in this. But I'd like to live in a lighthouse. That's one of my big dreams, to live in a lighthouse, definitely.
Do you see a big difference between like consciousness and dreaming when you say that you daydream a lot?
No, to me they're quite blurred, the edges of reality and
the subconscious.
Subconscious, yes, yeah, they're quite close. They're quite, because I'll go for a ride in the park and I'll just daydream and be like sort of taken aback by something, and just even in here in my shop, because the ceiling's quite nice. It looks like the sea.
Okay then, Stan, so do you have any particular dream that you remember?
Yes, floating, just walking along maybe a street and suddenly feeling myself lifting up, and then might go quite high and looking down on people. And it was so real, I still think of it, and sometimes that something must have happened. But I've always had this thought about flying, and I'm sure we can do it really, because I'm sure we can fight this sort of tendency to always to be being down on earth. We can't sort of do what all birds do. Yeah, that's it.
Beautiful.
And then the other one was I was chasing Lenny Henry round the underground to try and warn him that he was going to have a breakdown. And about a month later he actually had a breakdown. So that was a really bizarre one. But that's enough for now. I've got hundreds of them.
I recently had an operation, a hernia operation. And during the course of after the operation, should I say, having, been under the knife, so to speak, just for about 2-3 days, maybe 4. I kept having not so much recurring dreams, but very themed dreams to do with being in various sort of like medieval or ancient or something like this battles of some sort or another. And invariably at some point or other I would be skewered in the very spot where the operation took place. I had a sword, a sort of short broadsword, very Romanesque sort of sword, thrashing away at whoever it was, in thick combat, the hordes on one side, me and my lot on the other side, and just really gory, like blood, everything everywhere, until eventually somebody skewered me. Dream over, wake up, But listen, kids, if you want to remember your dreams, write them down, and you'll be surprised what happens.
Do you know what, when I first started my job in a cafe, I had this recurring dream all the time. It was always 2 hot drinks, like a cappuccino or like a hot chocolate or something. And all the way through the dream, no matter what, I just couldn't get these 2 drinks to the customers. And just like every night the same dream.
Does that happen a lot in your job?
When I first started, I kind of forget things all the time. Short-term memory, do you know?
Yeah.
I was married for 23 years and now I'm not. And sleep, far from providing a respite from my trials and tribulations, is a bit of a double-edged sword, because in my dreams I imagine I'm married again. I'm back with the kids, which is wonderful. They run the whole gamut of bathing the kids when they're young, so laughing with the wife and going to the beach and humdrum domestic stuff, which of course I no longer have. The come down is those first few minutes after you wake up, which is the most crushing feeling I've ever had in my life, and I wouldn't wish it on anybody. Don't get divorced.
My recurring dream, when I was a young girl, was that I used to be able to get into a telephone box and it'd just take off in the air, and I'd be transported to all different countries, and that was my dream. And consequently, I've travelled, been lots of places, lived abroad in Thailand for years, and that's when my dream came true. And shall I speak now? Oh.
I was thinking about the dream when I was in my old house and there was this djinn, and a djinn's like a ghost, like a spirit, and I was just whacking Kate around and she was just like flying all over the house and I was just trying to whack her out of the house. That was it.
What, the djinn?
Yes.
I haven't heard that word before.
Yeah.
Djinn.
Yes.
Where's that come from?
It's in the Arabic word, but it's just another. It's just the same saying, a ghost or a spirit. I wasn't scared of her, but you know, I sort of kept my distance from her.
And do you believe in those things in real life?
Yeah.
You ever seen any?
No, I wouldn't like to neither.
Okay. When I moved into my first house, which was an old Victorian house, 20 years ago or so, I always thought that when I got into the loft that I had this massive space, that it went on forever and ever. And then when I woke up, I was disappointed to find that the loft itself was just the normal house size. So I was always looking forward to my new dreams, where I had this lovely space to run around and excitement and plenty of new discoveries to find in that loft.
Yeah, so it was like an optimistic feeling of the new freedom.
That's exactly it, yeah. But apart from that, no other. Oh, and the obvious dream, you know, the running, that one, and going nowhere.